Hi, this is Jason Nickleby, Coordinator of Officials with the Minnesota State High School League, and this is Football Officiating Training Tape number 4. We're going to take a look at some plays involving line to gain, forward progress, goal line, some penalty enforcement, and we'll pull all those together with mechanics and judgment and positioning. And hopefully these plays are helpful for you as you discuss plays and how we're going to handle them in your games. Again, not picking on any one team, player, or official, just trying to learn from these plays, and hopefully these are helpful for you in that regard. So with that, we'll take a look at some plays. Okay, on this one we're going to take a look at a close spot as it relates to the line to gain. You'll see that the line to gain is the 40-yard line. We had about 4th and 3 to go. The line of scrimmage officials know the line that has to be achieved, which is the 40, and they get there so that they can see progress as it relates to the line to gain. I like how we come in and sell the spot, we pinch, and we mirror each other and have a good spot, so I do like that. The only thing I would say here is if we know for sure at the beginning of the play that all they have to do is achieve the big line, which in this case is the 40, especially on a turf field, if we know they only have to gain that line, then we should be able to give them a first down without coming in quite as far. Again, totally fine that we pinch. It is a critical spot on 4th down, so I'm okay with that. But if we know that all they have to do is gain that big line, then we don't have to come in quite as far. We can kill the clock and the referee can ship the first down. So good spot, good positioning at the line to gain, because we can always work backwards, and good job of knowing the line to gain ahead of the play. But just make sure that we know if it's a big line that we can just give it to them. But overall, well done. Okay, on this one, we're going to have 1st and goal at the 7. And our typical mechanics, we're going to go to the 5 as it's snapped in between the 10 and 5. We're going to go to the 5 first and then slide to the goal line as the play develops and dictates. And then we can work backwards from there. Remember, coming in on the field of play, if we're not sure if we have a touchdown, if we have a big pile up, we can always adjust to the goal line and give a touchdown if that's what we're going to do. In this case, I think it's an excellent spot. You'll see in the replay that the runner has the ball in his left hand, and when his knee is down, the forwardmost point of the ball is in the field of play. So I think this is an excellent spot. Very good positioning to make this ruling. So I think we have really excellent mechanics here. We move to the 5 and then move to the goal line and then adjust backwards. So just remember, see the ball in relation to the goal line, and being in the proper position helps us make a correct judgment on this play. So excellent mechanics, moving to the 5, then the goal line, followed by excellent judgment on the spot. Okay, similar play here, 2nd and goal, the 3, again, mechanics, moving to the goal line, and then we can work back into the field of play to get forward progress, or we'll be at the goal line to rule on the progress of the ball in relation to the goal line. So our mechanics are very, very well done here. We move to the goal line, so we're in good position. And then excellent judgment, and excellent judgments can be made when we have excellent positioning and mechanics. So in this case, we're at the goal line waiting for the runner. We see that the runner is not down. He makes contact with the defenders. He's laying on them and can still make further forward progress with the football, and we allow him to do that, and we properly award him a touchdown. So excellent mechanics, work to the goal line, and then we can work backwards if we need to, but we're in excellent position to make an excellent judgment by seeing that this player lands on both an offensive and defensive player and is given proper forward progress at the goal line for a touchdown. Okay, on this play, let's talk mechanics first. So, like some of the other plays we've seen, again, inside the 10, move to the 5, and then adjust to the goal line, and then you can work backwards into the field of play. We also have a fumble at the end of this play and a foul for a face mask on the defense on this play as well. So a couple things mechanically. Umpire, we're looking in the right spot to pick this up. So good pickup here. Definitely a 15-yard variety, not incidental with where it would be a 5-yard foul, but definitely a 15-yarder. So we're good with that. We're looking in the right spot to pick this up, so that's good. The only thing I would say mechanically is, by the whole crew, is don't forget to continue officiating. You'll see that the offensive player continues on and then fumbles. If he continues on for a touchdown, we need to give him that. We just need to continue to officiate this play. Don't forget to keep with it all the way to the end. And then the other final thing mechanically, referees, this is a foul that it is obvious that the defense will take. So let's go ahead and make the announcement, and then we can enforce it and move forward with the next down. We don't need to ask anybody about this one. They're going to take it. So just make sure that we announce this one and get on with it. Let's take a look at some of the rules that are involved in this play. And it seems like it's simple enough play, and it is in a lot of ways, but there are a lot of rules that come into play with this particular play. And the first being 943H on page 71. And in that particular rule, we're taking a look at the aspects that we're looking for as it relates to grasping the face mask or a helmet opening. So you'll see that grasping the helmet opening, chin strap, tooth or mouth protector, and then a twist or turn or pull, which is what we have in this case. You'll see that on the replay that's enough. Not incidental, so it's going to be 15 yards. Now keep in mind, if you look at the penalty statement for this, it's just 15 yards or half the distance as in this case. It's not an automatic first down. And that's typical on most illegal personal contact fouls. So that's important because in this particular case, we're inside 15 yards to the goal line, which means we're going to have half the distance to the goal, and we're not going to have an automatic first down, which is going to bring up third down, and you're probably going to have an upset coach or two who thinks it should be an automatic first down. And even if we agree that we think that's the rule, that's not the rule. So don't forget that it's not an automatic first down. It's just going to be half the distance as it is in this case. The next piece, 1044 on page 79, talks about where we're going to enforce this foul from. And in that particular rule, it says that the basic spot is where the related run ends for a foul which occurs during a running play as defined in 1032. So we have a running play here, clearly not a pass or a kick type play. We have a running play. So now the question becomes, where do we enforce this from? Where is the end of the run, which brings us to rule 242.9b on page 39. Now in that case, it says that the spot where a run ends is where the runner loses player possession if his run is followed by a loose ball. So in this case, we have a fumble. Now, not a huge deal because the fumble's recovered almost immediately at pretty much the same spot by the offense, but this would be something key to know, which means line of scrimmage officials, we need to get the beanbag down on that spot. This would be key to know because if the fumble were to travel a lot further, we would have an enforcement spot that would be different from what the end of the last run is. So in this case, enforcing from the end of the related run, which is the spot of the fumble, in this case, pretty much the same spot. You know, they might be a half yard or so away from the goal line, but keep this in mind if the fumble is a bigger distance. So we would need to be aware of that. Line of scrimmage officials, make sure you get the beanbag down in the right spot so that we can enforce it from the right spot, which is the end of the related run, in this case the spot of the fumble. So several rule references involved in what seems like a simple play, but we could get caught up by giving an automatic first down where it's not warranted, and then we could also enforce from the wrong spot. In this case, we have a correct judgment, proper enforcement, half the distance from the spot of the fumble, and it will remain third down. So the only other thing mechanically, referees try to dispense of this one a little bit quicker, as it's obvious they will take. Okay, in this play, 3rd and 10, pretty clearly a passing play opportunity. We need to be alert mechanically. Umpire comes up to the line of scrimmage officials maintain the line until the pass is imminent. We come down the field and square in, get a good spot. And then in this particular case, referee has a holding foul at about the 23-yard line. He was in good position to view that block. And unlike the last play, totally fine to give a preliminary. Not entirely sure they'll take it. It will bring up 4th down. However, because of the spot of the foul, pretty clearly one that they will probably take. And you see in the replay there, 55 red gets held pretty clearly and is properly called for a foul by the referee. Referees, pretty good positioning to view this. I like how we continue to officiate. We don't just keep our eyes on the spot of the foul. We continue to officiate the quarterback, and this is important. The only thing I would say is you don't need to slide out as much with the quarterback. We can stay inside, let him pass your face, and then we can officiate inside out. It's a lot easier to pick up roughing the passer in those kinds of fouls when we officiate inside out. If we officiate from behind the quarterback, sometimes we can get straight lined on the contact, especially as it relates to targeting. Really hard to pick that up when you're looking through the quarterback's back. So I would recommend staying a little bit more inside and officiating inside out. As it relates to the foul itself, this is an excellent call for offensive holding. We're looking for a material restriction, an effect on the player being blocked. In this case, pretty clear he has a hold of him with 2 hands, won't let go, and then ultimately takes him to the ground. So we're looking for this kind of material effect, because remember, in high school football, holding and fouls like it are going to be a spot foul, and these fouls are killer. So we need to make sure they're big, 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 and this one is. And so we do that well. Now, the other thing I would say about this, let's talk about penalty enforcement. So once we get the information from the calling official and the referee's ready to make his announcement, then umpires, we should get to the spot that we will be enforcing the penalty from, and then we should look to the head linesman first. If the head linesman's occupied, then let's take a look at the line judge, and they can confirm the penalty enforcement with you. What we would do is we would put 1 finger in the air for 5 yards, 2 for 10 yards, and 3 for 15. Confirm that with one or both of the line of scrimmage officials, and then you can move. Don't put the ball on the ground until you've confirmed with one or both of the line of scrimmage officials that the spot is good. It's a lot better, a lot cleaner if we can adjust it before putting the ball down. It doesn't look good when we put the ball down and then we hear whistles because we have to move the ball. So in this case, I'm fine with the yardage enforcement. The only thing is referees or any calling official for that matter, make sure that you put the flag in the right spot. When you're having the foul reported to you, one of the first questions we should ask, and umpires should probably ask as well, is that a good spot? We can always adjust the flag, and in high school football, the spot of the flag is probably more important than other codes, because many of the fouls that we have in the rule book will be enforced from that spot. So it's key to know that that's the correct spot, and then enforce from there. So you'll see in this case, the foul takes place in the middle of the field, and ultimately we enforce it all the way over on the right hash. Now, Is this a huge deal? Not necessarily. However, if it's going to bring up fourth down and they're going to kick a field goal and we're on the wrong hash, that is going to be a big deal. So an example of that would be intentional grounding or something like that, where we would need to make sure that the spot is correct. So umpires confirm with the line of scrimmage officials before you move, and then confirm with them before you put the ball down, and then everyone on the crew should be engaged in the penalty enforcement as it relates to the amount of yards, the spot, and then ultimately the correct down. So just something to be aware of here. Not a huge deal on where we put it down, but make sure we're as accurate with that as we can be, and make sure we confirm as a crew everyone should be engaged, and ultimately an excellent call for offensive holding by the referee. On this play, 2-point try, so same mechanically as we would do in a regular scrimmage down inside the 5, move to the goal line and then adjust into the field of play for forward progress as needed, which we do here. Excellent job mechanically, 1 yard off the sideline to begin the play and then adjust to the goal line. So well done here. What I want to point out here is we have an unusual finish to this play. So quarterback's about to get stood up and then he shovels it off to number 1, who isn't really expecting it, but who should expect it is the officials. We should always expect the unexpected: backwards pass, shovel pass, fumble, onside kick, something that is out of the ordinary. We should always be ready for it so we don't get caught off guard. What I'd like to see mechanically on this play is, first, let's stay at the goal line. Don't come off of it too quick. Second piece, if we have this as a backwards pass, I would like someone to punch this backwards. Because if we're not punching backwards on this play, then you're telling me it's forward. And in this case, we would have an illegal forward pass. So we come in and sell the fact that number 1 did not cross the goal line with the ball in his possession for a 2-point touchdown. So we're good there and we have a good sell, but don't come off the goal line too quick. Make sure we punch this as a backwards pass if that's what we have. And if it's forward, then we should have an illegal forward pass. I don't think it is. I think it's backwards based on what I see here. So just don't forget to punch that. I know it could catch us off guard, and that's why I wanted to point this play out. Pretty unusual for a 2-point try to have this kind of finish to it. So let's not get caught off guard as officials, but well done mechanically, moving to the goal line, adjusting, and then being ready for that final forward progress at the goal line. Okay, on this scrimmage kick here, good initial position by the referee, good position to view the kicker. Take a look at the catch by number 5 here at the 33-yard line. Back judge, we kill it right away. Don't be too quick. Make sure it doesn't slip through there. And also, back judges, I'd like us a little bit closer to the middle of the field. I don't want us all the way in the side zone. We're going to be about 3 or 4 yards deep of the return player. We're still shading the head linesman side, but I'd like us a little bit more in the middle of the field versus in the side zone. Because if we have a kick return like this that's all the way in the other side zone, it's going to be a little bit tougher to help with that. The return player catches this cleanly, but if he drops this ball, this is going to be enough for a foul for kick catching interference. Now the rule that is in question here is on page 58, and it talks about the fact that K shall not obstruct R's path to the ball. This is way too close, so if number 5 drops it, we're going to have a foul. And the enforcement of that is an awarded fair catch after enforcement of a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, or 15 yards from the previous spot and a replay of the down. So I'm totally fine not having a foul on this play, but if the K players buzz the tower like this and number 5 subsequently drops the football, that would be enough for a foul for kick catching interference, as he's obstructing the return player number 5's pass of the ball. So again, totally fine philosophy-wise to not have a foul here, but if we buzz the tower either in front or to the side and the return player drops the football, that would be enough for a kick-catching interference foul. Okay, running play here, 1st and 10 off a left guard. Gets pushed out into the hash where the defense subsequently strips the ball and returns it. First of all, excellent whistle control by the head linesman. This is a play that we could easily kill, and the offense would be just as upset if we killed it early and they popped out of there for a touchdown run. In this case, the defense strips it. The offensive player is still driving, pushing forward, trying to gain more forward progress. He's being helped along by some of his offensive teammates, so we're going to try to give them more progress, but at the same time, they have to give up the possibility that they may lose the football, which they do here. 98 takes it out of there while he's still trying to gain forward progress, and he's off the ground. So several factors here for line of scrimmage officials. We need to see if progress is stopped. We need to see if he's down prior to the ball coming loose. And in this case, still trying to make progress. The ball is out prior to him being down, and we have excellent whistle control on this play. And this is one that umpires could easily get fooled into having a whistle too. So another reason not to have our whistle in our mouth on plays like this, because we could easily get fooled on this play and kill it. So well done by the crew. Excellent whistle control. Great judgment. This is really well done by the crew. Okay, that will do it for training tape number 4. Some examples of forward progress and mechanics, and then penalty enforcement philosophy as well. So hopeful that these plays are helpful for you and your crew as you're meeting prior to your games, driving out to your games. Always good to have discussion about plays. You never know when something crazy is going to happen in a game, and hopefully these plays spur that conversation between you and your crewmates. So with that, good luck with your games this weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.